So recently I received a question regarding a schema, and it goes more or less in this direction. I have this schema, it's working great. Now how can I make a schema for nested properties inside the object? And my first reaction was, a schema that is working great? Fantastic, let's take a look at it. So stay tuned, because in this video I'm going to explain you how schema validation works at the most basic level, because apparently always the most simple examples are the ones that do not work. Welcome back, my name is Valentine, and let's get started with understanding what's going on here. And apparently the person who has written the schema believes that it's working fine. And actually sending this request and inspecting the test results will say that the schema is valid. So it seems that everything is great. So move on to write more advanced schemas? No way. The first thing that you always need to do whenever you write a test, whatever that test is, no matter how simple that test seems, is to check that it will fail. So let's do the following. I will create a mock server because that allows us to play around with the response a bit and try to see how everything actually works. So first of all, I'm going to create an environment. That's going to call it live. I have a variable called URL. I'm going to add the current address to that environment. I'm going to update it. And in the address, I will simply replace everything with URL. So it still works as before because now I replaced the entire path with this variable. Great. So the first thing that we need to do is to create a mock server. So I'll go over the collection, select mock collection, no environment. And this is now where the mock is going. So I can simply copy the path. And what is missing is, of course, some examples, because otherwise the mock will not work. So I'm going to add here an example. And this will copy the existing response. So that's great. So now if I open the mock in a different tab, I'll be able to see that I get the same response. So that's working fine. So we now almost have the infrastructure needed in order to start playing around with the response. The next thing I'll do is I'll simply copy this so that we have now a mock. So this will be, instead of live, it will be mock. Great. So if I now select mock, I will still get this data. Okay, so what does this schema contain? Well, as you can see, it first says this is an object. Okay, so that would mean that if I'm not sending an object, this should fail. So let's go ahead and change the example. I will definitely change this with something which isn't an object. Resend the request. So apparently there's an error here, so this doesn't work. Now, actually the error comes from a different part, but just to accept, in this case, everything seems to be working fine. Perfect. So far so good. Now let's try and replace this with an empty object. You see here the empty object, going back to the request. The empty object is coming back, but the schema is valid. So what's going on here? This person obviously thought that this particular test and this particular schema will work just fine, but apparently when we start playing around with it, it doesn't work so well. So in order to understand how schema validation works, we need to start really from scratch. We need to really have nothing and start understanding how everything works. Because otherwise, if you think that you have something that works and you start building upon it, you will have absolutely no confidence that this test will actually fail when they should fail. So I will just delete everything. I'm going to start with this simple example here. So we have an object as a response, okay? So what we can start doing is to define the schema. And the schema itself is an object which has different properties. Now, one of these properties is type. And we're saying here by type that this is an object, which means if we send something that isn't an object, that will not work. The previous example has used the TV4, the tiny validator for JSON Schema version 4, which I personally don't recommend. So I'll be using another built-in schema validator, the AGV. It's been recently built in Postman, and I think it works much better than the previous one. So the test will still have the same structure, but now the assertion will be a bit different. So we'll have pm.response to have JSON schema, and we give here the schema. Just a small mistake here. And now we have everything working. Let's see how that goes. So now apparently the schema is valid, but can we actually believe the schema that it is valid? So again, I'm gonna simply replace the body with something else, and I'm testing it and I see I get an error. So if for whatever reason the body isn't JSON anymore, then the schema will fail. So very simple example, but we need to start with very simple steps to understand how things work. Now let's elaborate our example a bit. Let's say that we now no longer have just a simple empty JSON object, but we start adding a property. We'll have here a property code. Let's say this is a string that looks like this. So again, the schema will still valid because it is an object, so nothing has changed now. But if we want to test for this property, we'll need to add another property to the schema, and that property is called properties. In the properties object, we can define multiple properties. It's important when you're writing a schema that you do not make any typos, because if you, for example, misspell properties and you don't test what you have written is valid, then the schema will indeed be an object, but it will not evaluate those respective properties. So you need to be very, very careful about it. Properties is an object, and now we can start defining our own properties from the response. And we have here code, and there are many properties that we can define, but we're gonna start very basic. And we simply wanna say, hey, this is a string. So we'll have here type string, okay? So let's send it again. It seems that the schema is valid. And now let's change this to, for example, just a number. So code will be 2. And you will now see that indeed the schema validation doesn't work. It says that it should be code, should be a string. It's actually a number. So that didn't work. Now, what can happen in this case is that this will be maybe renamed to status code. So when you're running this, the schema will still be valid, even though you have specified here a property called code that should be a string. And this is one of the reasons why you should really test in the most minutious detail your schema to make sure that everything works. Otherwise, there's absolutely no purpose to writing a schema altogether. So in this case, what we have specified here is that a simple property, but we didn't say that this property is actually required. So in order to make this property required, you have to go again and write here required, open an array, and we're gonna write here code to be required. So now we have defined the property code and we said that it is required. So now when we send the request again, we will see that the validation is now correct. It's making what we actually wanted initially. And it checks for a property code. And obviously in the response, there is no property code. So changing everything back, we now have the error that it should be a string. And if we make this a string, then the schema is valid. So as you saw in this example, it is quite easy to assume that something works, but actually it doesn't. And even for such an empty response body, if you do not understand the basics and you do not understand how exactly to test if your schema is correct and to test that everything is working as it should work, then there's absolutely no point in writing the schema altogether, because if you write a schema that has errors in it and it doesn't work and the tests don't fail, there's no value being generated. So that's about it in this very simple tutorial on schema validation. I hope this will help you just get started with schemas, and I will add more advanced tutorials, but it was very important for me to get at least the basics right so that you can understand when you're staying and how can you get started with this, and not to involve yourself in very complex schemas that you don't understand. Just start with the basics, try to get them to work, and after that take it from there. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial was useful. If this was the case, give this video a thumbs up. Leave any questions or error remarks in the comment section below. Subscribe to this channel for the next episode, and see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.